Hello everyone, I'm Priya Teli. In today's video, we are going to see the Java program for login page for our quiz application. In previous video, we have seen the program for registration page for our quiz application. So let's see the program. Here we are going to import these four packages, that is javax.swing.star, java.awt.event.star, java.awt.star, and java.sql.star. So here we have our class name as login, which implements action listener interface. Here, first of all, we are going to create object of JFrame, which is a Swing component. Here, all these we have used our Swing component, that is JFrame, JLabel, JText field, JPassword field, JButton, etc. So here we are going to create an object of JFrame class. Then similarly for all other components. And here we have labels. So let me show you how this login form appears. So it looks in this way. So we are having here three labels, that is login form, user ID and password. We have two text fields here, this one and this one. Then we have here only one button, that is login. And we have this title, that is login form. We have set the set resizable as false. That's why this maximize button is disabled. Let's see further. Now here we have these three labels, that is user ID, login form, password. Then we have this button, that is login button. Then we have inserted an image here. So we have not directly inserted this icon to the frame. We have inserted this icon to the label and then that label to the frame. So we have created the object of icon class, and here we have a label named whose object is image. So this is a constructor from where we are calling these four methods, and its implementation is further below. So we have divided our program into these four blocks, that is create window, set location and size, add components to the frame, and action event. So here in the create window method, we are going to have the program for creation of window and other thing like its size, title, layout, and its visibility. So with the help of this frame object, we are going to call the constructor, that is JFrame. Then we are going to set title for our frame with the help of set title method, and its title is set as login form. Then we have set bounds method. So what it takes four parameters: x coordinate, y coordinate, width, and height. So here we have set x coordinate and y coordinate as 300. Let's take here as 10. And 10, and then let me show you. Let us run the program. Now this appears here, the window which comes, it appears here. Let me tell you. Okay, here the x distance from x is 50 and distance from y, that is from up, is 10, as we have taken here as 50 and 10, that is x coordinate is 50, y coordinate is 10. Previously it was 300, so it appeared somewhere here. And the width and height is set as 800 and 900. So it is the size or width and height of our frame in which it appears. Then we have set background method, which we write as get content paint dot set background, and inside that we have used this color class color dot white. Then we have get content pen dot set layout. So default one is border layout. So if we don't want to mention anything, we simply write null here. So here we have our border layout because default one is null layout. That's why our frame has border. Then after that we have set visible method. We have set visibility as true. If we set it as false, then the frame as well as the component bounds on the frame will not be visible. Then we have set default close operation method. Inside that we have passed jframe.exit on close, so that we can close our frame clicking on this close button. Else if we doesn't mention it, then we will not be able to close our frame even though we click on it many times. Then we have this set resizable method. We have set this as false. That's why this maximize button is disabled. But if we set it as true, let's see and run the program. Now we can see that this maximize button is enabled. I can maximize this frame and also minimize it. Okay, then we have set location and size method, and implementation for this is below. Now we are going to call 4 methods here for each component, specifically for label components. Let's see. This is the title, that is the title of our frame. This is the component of our label. So here we call this set bounds method to set the location of our components, that is x coordinate, y coordinate, and width and height. X coordinate is measured from left, y coordinate is measured from up, and then the width and height. Then we have used set font method to set the font, and we have used here font name as Cambria, font type is central baseline, and font size is 25. Then we have used set background method, and the background color we have set is white, color dot white. Then we have set foreground method to set the font color. So we can see here font color is red. So we are going to do it with the help of set foreground method. So set foreground, and inside that we have set color dot red from color class, which is under AWT package. Then we have this parent label, which is a component of JLabel. We are going to call these same 4 methods for this also. Then we have text field. For the text field, we are not going to call this set foreground method, only just for the labels so that it could appear red. Then we have this P, that is icon class object, and we have its implementation as image icon, which takes the path for our image. We pass it the path for an image, and we are going to pass this icon object to the image, that is to the set icon method. We are going to insert this image into the label with the help of set icon method, and then we are going to insert this label to our frame. Then we have this login button, and we have this we have used set bounds method. Then we have this add components to the frame method, where we add all these components whose size we have specified to the frame, so with the help of dot add method. So frame dot add, then we are going to add all these components. Here sequence is not mandatory, we can add it in any sequence. Just not mentioning the size and location is not enough. We need to add those components to the frame, otherwise it will not be visible on the frame. Then we have this action event method, where we have added an action listener to our component. So here we need to add action listener to our this login button, because the event must be specified what should happen when we click on this login event. It is not necessary to add action listener to text fields here. So we have just added this to our login button with the help of this add action listener method. Then in the bracket we are going to write this keyword, as this method is in the class which implements action listener. If it is not so, we can simply write here new action listener. We can call the constructor of that class. Then we have this action perform method from action event class. So we have created the object for our action event class. So we have this object E of action event class. So if e dot get source is equal to login button, so we have this get source button, get source method. So if it is equal to login button, it means if we click on the login button, then we are going to specify the event here, what should happen. So the further code is critical program. So that's why we have written inside the try catch block. So in this we have created the object of connection class. Then we have this method get connection from driver manager class. We pass here three things, that is URL, connection URL, then username and password. So here comes the host name, that is localhost. Here comes the port number of MySQL server. Here comes the database name, in my case it is RIT. Then here is the username, which is root, and the password it is MD. Then you have to replace it here with your credentials. Then we have created the statement class object, that is stmd, and we call create statement method on this connection object. Then it returns uh, result, and that is taken into statement if the connection is established. Then we have this second object stmt1 for the statement class, which we here also we have called the create statement method on connection object. Then here these both are the string variables, that is prn and pass. Here we are fetching the value inserted into the text fields with the help of this get text method. Here these are the objects of text fields, and with the help of get text method we are fetching the values into these string variables. Instead of get text for password, we can also use get password method. Then we have this query. We have stored this query into this query string variable. Then we call this execute query method on the statement object and pass this query to it to execute, and the results returned are taken into this result set object, which is rs. And to iterate throughout the table, we are going to use while loop, and for the iteration purpose, we have this .next method, rs.next. So now we have fetched the values from the column, that is prn and password, into these string variables, that is user id and password. User id and password are the string variables in which we are fetching the result written from this query. So we are going to fetch the values from prn and password column. So these are case sensitive. We have to mention here the column name as there in the table. So I'm having this prn and password columns here. So I have written it as it is there to fetch the values from particular for each row into these, for each iteration into these string variables. So we are going to compare it with those entered into the text fields. The values entered into the text field and the values fetched from the columns will be compared, that whether the user exists or not. If it is registered, then he or she will be allowed to log in. So here we are going to use and because the password and username should be matched, then only user will be allowed to log in. So for that we have taken as if user id dot equals prn and password dot equals pass. If happens so, if it is true, then we are going to display the message that login successfully. So with the help of this goption pen dot show message dialog, the object we are passing here is null. If we don't want to pass, we can simply write here null. Then we have this prepare statement, because here it is not required to insert this logged in user to the login table, but we have just taken it for our convenience. In general, there is no such login table, but we have taken it here, a separate login table for our convenience. So the logged in user details like user id and password will be inserted into this table. So we have created the object p statement for prepare statement class, uh, and we call this prepare statement method on this connection object and pass here a query, that is insert into login. This is a table name login values question mark comma question mark. So here we are going, here this is a parameterized query. We don't know the value, we are going to fetch it from text field. So here we have mentioned written the question mark, and we are going to maintain the sequence as into my table, which is login. Here the sequence is prn then password. So we are going to insert in the same sequence. First of all, we are going to fetch the value from PRN text field, and then from password text field with the help of get text method, and we are going to set it or insert it in with the help of this set string method. So p statement dot set string, and this we have mentioned here sequence 1 and then 2. So in that sequence these values will be inserted to the table. So sequence is important. Then after that we are going to execute this query with the help of p statement dot execute update. Whenever we are executing some manipulation related query like insert, delete, or update, we are going to use this execute update method. Otherwise, whenever we are going to do some um uh, whenever we are going to retrieve the data, like whenever we are going to use select query, then we use execute query method. Then we have then whenever the login is successful, the user will be redirected to the home page. So we have created the object of home page class, and then we will set this frame visibility as false, so that this frame will be that is login frame will be disposed, or simply we can do here frame dot dispose method, so that this frame will dispose, login frame will dispose, and the home page will appear. Then here we have this exception handling code inside the catch block. Here we have created the exception class object, which is ex. So ex dot print stack trace. Whenever if in case any SQL exception occurs, then the info regarding that will be printed with the help of this due to this print stack trace method. So here instead of if we don't know which exception can occur here, then we can here simply create the object of exception class. Else we can mention here specifically like SQL exception. So I have written here simply exception. Then we have, if in case the login credentials are not valid, then we are going to display this message that is invalid credentials with the help of this goption pane dot show message dialog, and the object passed here is null, and this is the message we have mentioned, which will be displayed with the help of that dialog box. Then we have this class main. Here we have this main method, and inside this main method we have created the object of login class, or else we can simply call this new log right here new login instead of creating object, because this object will never be used, but we can write in this way also. So in when we create this object and we call the constructor that is login, then the constructor will be called and the program runs. So let's see how it looks. So in this way it looks. Let's see the working. Let's write some user ID and password, and when we click on the login, here the message is displayed that is logged in successfully, and when we click on OK, then this home page appears. Else if we insert some invalid credentials, let's see what happens. Suppose 20, and if we try to log in, then it is not able to, then we are not able to log in. So in this way, one more important thing, whenever here we have a program related to JDBC inside our this is a JDBC program, that is which is a sub program inside this, and we are performing queries. So we need to import MySQL connector inside our Java program. So this is a jar file, MySQL connector Java jar file, which we have imported inside our project inside the library section. If we don't import here, then we can do one thing, that is we can simply just import it to our library inside the Java lib/ext folder, and include that variable into the environment variables section. So in this way it works. If you like my video, please like it and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.